I just completed an interview with Bryant McGill. You'll want to check out that interview, but it led me to this topic, which is about your health choices, especially dealing with food, versus your self-love or self-loathing. Yes, we got into that topic in our conversation, so it just got me thinking more about exploring this in my own podcast. And, I've even used the term chemical violence to describe, for example, mercury-laced vaccines. If you inject a child with toxic chemicals, that's a form of chemical child abuse or medical child abuse. But it's also true if you keep eating toxic pesticides or herbicides or fungicides or things that compromise your neurology or your health or give you cancer. If you're eating all of these toxic ingredients, you are committing a kind of chemical suicide. And why would you do that unless you somehow hated yourself? You see that? And don't take that, don't have a knee-jerk reaction to that. What I mean is there can be elements of yourself that you haven't yet learned to love or that you're unhappy with and you haven't come to terms with. And the way that you feed yourself, I believe, is an extension of the way you see yourself. And that's why, a lot of people who transform their minds, like Bryant McGill did, are able to, in his case, lose 100 pounds and get healthy, for the first time in a long time. And it's not just about weight loss. This is about whole body health. This is about lifelong health and how it's important to deal with your own personal issues at a deeper level rather than just try to treat your food habits almost as a symptom. I see people go over to like Weight Watchers food and they're trying to lose weight by limiting their calories, and so they have these 100-calorie meals. I think it's Weight Watchers that does that, and there's probably some others. But most of that is processed food. And it's not really what I would consider to be healthy food at all. It's kind of processed junk food, just in smaller portions. I'm not sure that that's really the answer. And it's like you're treating the symptom of obesity and weight gain rather than dealing with the far bigger problem, which is, why do you not love yourself enough to justify organic food and to spend the time making fresh food and raw food or juicing or whatever else that you need to do? That's the real question in my mind. And are you okay with being you? And if you're not, then set aside the dietary issues for a minute or a while and deal with you. That could be therapy sessions. It could be a self-exploration journey. It could be time alone in nature. It could be talking with family. But it could also be something as simple as, let's say, forgiveness or apologizing to someone that you've wronged and you want to make it right, or even apologizing to yourself. Believe it or not, that's something that can be very, very powerful. Or just forgiving yourself. Hey, you're human, you made some mistakes, you did some things incorrectly, you made some bad decisions. We're all human. We've all made decisions that we probably could have done better in retrospect. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you forgive yourself and if you learn to love yourself, then it automatically flows to choose healthier foods, to choose organics, to choose pesticide-free foods, and so on. Because now that's consistent with your image of yourself, which is a more loving, more compassionate image. If you think about it, pesticide chemicals and glyphosate and GMOs and everything they represent, the ecological destruction, the cancer, the killing of pests and so on. The killing of ecology, not just pests, but the contamination of waterways and so on. What that is really, it's an expression of extreme violence. And that violence, if you eat that food with all that violence that's kind of imprinted in the food, chemically imprinted, it's physically part of the food, then you are pushing that violence into who you become because you are what you eat. And if you eat chemical violence, then you become more disturbed or more violent or more inflamed or perhaps more unhappy with yourself. So all these things are connected. And I realize this is not just straight chemistry or straight food science. This is getting into mind-body medicine and the relationships between food and self-image, self-identity, consciousness, and all these things. But it it's not just weird new age stuff. It's actually real. Your mind does affect your body. Your mind is connected to your body. The chemicals that you might expose yourself to, they do affect your body. They have a real effect on your mind and on your physiology both. This is all very real. This is all actually scientific. There are many, probably thousands of scientific articles documenting relationships between mind and body. And nutrition affects both. And chemical exposure affects both. So these are some very important things to think about. If you're trying to achieve a very specific weight loss goal, let's say, or a very specific disease prevention goal or disease reversal goal, it's always important, I think, to look at your self-image, your self-love, to look at forgiveness or apologies or healing in many different ways. There are lots of avenues to explore self-healing, but bring that in as a component to what you do. Nutrition is very powerful, but without the mind involved in that healing journey, it can't possibly be complete. So that's just something to think about. You can hear more of my podcasts at healthrangerreport.com or read my website, naturalnews.com, for a lot more on food and health and nutrition. I publish also food.news as well as mind.news. So if you want to combine those two subjects, check out both of those websites. I think you'll find them very informative. Thank you for listening, and take care.
Learn more at healthrangerreport.com.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.